The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your superior web headmaster, Jared Bachman Stubbs. I have barely changed my name from last week because it's still Spider-Man season around here at the Nerd Academy podcast. It's always Spider-Man season. Y'all know that. But I am not alone for this here news roundup. I am joined by my loyal co-host, your resident Green Lantern, Professor Travis Grossman.
Maybe we can convince them from my window that we really did record this in the morning.
Yeah.
But like really early. It's like 4 a.m. right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're up so early. Travis, we were talking for like 30 fucking minutes before we started. You might want to check your mic settings real quick.
Why is that?
You just sounded not as crisp through your mic as you usually do.
That's unfortunate.
Could also be my ears playing tricks on me. But yeah, while Travis plays with that, we have a couple programming notes. First thing is first, this Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be on the Bombad cast with Spencer and M, formerly of Pink Milk, now of Sisters with Sabers, talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Very excited for this week. I am so pumped for Indiana Jones. I'm showing Taylor Indiana Jones for the first time these past couple weeks. Been hanging out with Kaysen and his girlfriend. We watched Raiders of the Lost Ark the other night, and then we're trying to figure out a day where we can blast through the last three. So I'm so pumped. Also expect a review for Dial of Destiny when it comes out. I fucking love Indiana Jones.
Two
Travis?
things.
So much better.
Good. You know what it was?
What?
This webcam has a microphone in it.
So it was going to the webcam.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that was the problem.
Because if it wasn't going before, like when we were talking, I don't know what switched it. Anyway.
It was. I just forgot to tell you because we got lost in conversation.
Right.
I meant to, and then we started talking about myriad
I
other
even
things.
thought about checking it. Like when we recorded for the review last week, I checked it beforehand because I usually check it. Today I was like, whatever, it's fine.
Fuck it.
Also, the only Indiana Jones movie I've seen is Crystal Skull, and it was on a bus.
I love all your movies that you've seen on a bus. Speaking of Crystal Skull, next week is going to be Crystal Skull, and I don't mean to tell tales out of school. I believe their guests for that are going to be friends of the show, Alden Diaz and Alex Damon, to defend the oft maligned Indiana Jones movie. I haven't seen Crystal Skull in a Stone's Age, and I cannot wait to rewatch it. I last time I saw it, I was like single digit age. So I'm excited to revisit it as a grown up. A couple other production notes, namely for our patrons. Travis and I talked about it like in passing last week because we realized that his new work schedule is actually quite conducive to what we do around here. So we're bringing back Heroic History. We're going to try to have an episode out around July-ish. We're going to be covering Flashpoint in honor of the Flash coming out. Well, not in honor, but in concurrence with.
In honor of another poor attempt to replicate Flashpoint in a medium that isn't a comic book or animated movie.
I eventually will stop trying to tie them all to releases. One of these days we'll just be like, oh, hey, let's do this one.
Unfortunately, the content train never stops.
No.
So we can't stop.
Never. I signed all of our souls over to the content machine forever. Speaking of our Patreon, we are going to be starting a new little segment in each show. We're going to be doing a Q&A segment in each episode from now on. So our patrons are going to be getting first pickings. So on our Patreon at any tier, I'm going to be making a post weekly with a Q&A segment or section for you guys to ask us questions over there. Patreon questions are going to get priority. So if you desperately want to get a question asked and answered, go on over to that post. There will be one up each week for Patreon Q&A stuff. We will also make it so that you guys can comment on the episodes themselves with your questions that we'll then cover in the next episode, provided we aren't swamped with Patreon questions. As it stands, it doesn't seem like it'll be a problem. But we would love for it to be a problem down the road. So make it a problem for us. And with that, just to also put this out there, I see the analytics. Not all of you are subscribed, and I would like for you to change that, because the Nerd Academy is on the cusp of being monetized now. YouTube has recently changed its the requirements for monetization. So we are it needs 500 subscribers to cross that threshold. We're currently just shy of 400. So anyone who's watching who's not yet subscribed, very much appreciated if you did. Help push us over that threshold. And our watch time needs to crack 5,000 hours. We're at like 4,750 something in watch hours. So if you're watching, try to watch as much of the episode as you can. And again, help tick that clock forward. It would be greatly appreciated as we get onto the cusp of some cool stuff. Also, I know we mentioned it before. We're going to be partnering with Level Up Sabers very soon as another sponsor. I have to get some details ironed out just in terms of like bank information. And because I don't live right on top of where all that paperwork is anymore, I got to grab that this week. So hopefully very soon, you guys will also have access to our code for Level Up Sabers. Very fun stuff. Glad to finally get fully back in the saddle. And very soon, I think I will be rid of this green screen before the end of the summer, and I can, not be floating in some primordial void just talking about the content. But before we jump into all this news, you guys know the drill. We have a word from our lovely sponsors. It's Sunday's Bloody Mary. SundaysBloodyMary.com has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement across the multiverse with their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice isn't for you. They're trying to get your freak on and garnish that bad boy. Going over to their award-winning pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, and salt that rim as well. And get some merch from them too. So get on over to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout, and get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Travis.
One of these days you're going to record a commercial for Sunday's Bloody Mary where the whole bit of the commercial is that you want to get day drunk and watch a superhero movie.
Oh, so I've been wanting to do that for a minute. Not that premise. I just want to make a video actually making a Sunday's Bloody Mary and just haven't had a chance to yet.
I thought you were going to be like, I just want to get day drunk and watch superhero.
Oh yeah. Is Jarod as an alcoholic still a bit we do around here? Is that still a bit we do?
I mean,
I
know how you pour drinks.
I know.
I've learned my lesson.
In our friend group, there is a phrase called a Jarod pour,
which I requested.
Yes, and
to be
nearly died on a 4th of July evening when we watched Hamilton, and I almost sent Travis to meet George Washington himself. As the great Alex Emmerich Jones once said, the tree of liberty must from time to time be watered with the blood of tyrants. What?
You've evolved to the point of having quotes on command, and I don't know how I feel about it.
My favorite, and previously mentioned Alden Diaz's favorite, knowledge fight in their technocrat thing where they'll play for their high level patrons.
Mm-hmm.
They have a few. One of them is from Super. It's a lot of it's older Alex clips. And one of them is Alex saying, Jar Jar Binks has a Caribbean black accent. And I just think about that once a day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
You know he threw up right after doing that. Like they cut his mic, he vomited on the floor out of the shot of the camera, and then they kept going.
So my favorite thing about Alex Jones that I've learned from Knowledge Fight is that when he's interviewing somebody, he will often just like ask them a super long-winded question and keep them on camera, because when they sometimes accidentally cut back to him, he has this like hilariously large sandwich. One day, like we joke about it, I'm gonna become him one day.
I know. That's the time loop.
Not as I was gonna say, maybe not as like much of a fucking monster, but like I'm trying to be so professional. I will eventually backslide back into being a bumblefuck, and it will just be shit like me, like what do you think about Secret Wars? And meanwhile, I'm just like gorging a fucking quesarito.
I had a different thought in mind, but I'll talk. It's personal for you, so I'm gonna like not say it on camera. It involves your family.
Okay.
No, I think someone in your life is secretly you from the future who is Alex, like Alex Jones. Is gonna swing back.
I am my own grandpa. I am my own grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh my god! My chest.
Or at least like to make it not weird, replaces your biological grandfather with himself.
Yeah, it's like
to guide
it's
you.
like my grandfather is like Terry McGinnis with extra steps.
Yeah, but I guess to make it work though, he has to do the loop twice, right?
Yeah,
because there's you, Alex Jones, and then your grandpa.
I was like I thought it involves your family had something to do with me gorging a quesarito. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm like, oh no,
your God-given talent.
I sincerely laughed so hard my chest hurts. Like I pulled a fucking muscle laughing at you. Ow. I actually hurt myself. All right.
That's not good.
No, not at all. I was like, I laughed and I went, ow. Anyway, we're gonna hope that fades as the show goes on.
Sure,
or maybe I do die in the fucking ring making content. We're gonna jump right into a story that broke today at time of record. From Anthony D'Alessandro at Deadline. We've had a huge slew of MCU/Disney release date shifts. All of these certainly being a byproduct of the WGA strike. Reading from the article here, it feels like COVID all over again, but it's not. Disney has just made a slew of release date changes, many due to the impact of the WGA strike and screenplays not being ready and productions paused. We already know that Thunderbolts and Blade are waiting the strike out before rolling cameras. Scripts aren't fully ready in regards to the new Avengers movies. Kang Dynasty goes from May 2nd, 2025 to May 1st, 2026. And Avengers Secret Wars is also pushed another year from May 1st, 2026 to May 7th, 2027. Obviously, this goes without saying. I am sure the Jonathan Majors situation is also an active part of this. We told you 2023 was largely safe in regards to staying intact, knock on wood, but the ramifications for the writers' strike and productions paused will be felt throughout 2024 and beyond. Commence the great release date shuffle by major motion picture studios. Also, the other delay here with the MCU is titles that Disney wants to make sure that they're better than what they've been doing from script to stage to VFX in the wake of fan pans and lower post-pandemic box office results for films such as Eternals, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Cue me doing a jerk-off motion because I think all those movies were dandy, but it's fine. First major changes is that the untitled Deadpool movie, which I don't know why they're saying untitled, it's called Deadpool 3, will fire off next summer, May 3rd, while Captain America Brave New World, which also Captain America New World Order had a title change. Obviously, there was some pushback with the title of New World Order as it invoked some unsavory anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. I at first was a little disappointed because me and my conspiracy brain kind of loved the idea of a movie being called Captain America New World Order. But these are moments where you got to learn to check your privilege, and me as a Jewish person was not affected in the way that could be and was a very offensive title. So I'm glad it was changed. All things considered. So Captain America Brave New World has been pushed to July 26th of 2024. Thunderbolts is staying in 2024, moving off of a July release date to December 20th. Deadpool 3 and a vote of confidence will move up to November 2024. Deadpool 3 is the only movie to get accelerated and not delayed. Blade has gone from September 6, 2024 to the Valentine's Day 2025 release date that was previously held for the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four has moved to May 2nd of 2025. Also in the realm of Disney Studios release dates, Avatar 3 has been delayed from December 2024 to December 19th, 2025. And thusly, all of the Avatar movies have been pushed a year. So 4 will come out in December of 2026. And Avatar 5 will be coming out in December of 2028. I'm sorry. Avatar 5 goes from December 2028 to December 19th, 2031.
They think we'll make it that far. That's cute.
Jesus. While these scripts are already locked, the shift of movies due to the WGA strike is pushing the Avatar sequels around. John Landau said each Avatar film is an exciting epic, but an undertaking that takes time to bring to the quality level we as filmmakers strive for, and audiences have come to expect. The team is hard at work and can't wait to bring audiences back to Pandora in 2025. This is something we'll talk about now, even though this isn't Knights of the Nerd Republic. But whenever we do an episode of KNR next week, we're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws, obviously, but also some of this. The Star Wars movies, which are being baked, are getting kicked down the road like cans. One of them going from December 19th to 2025 to May 22nd of 2026. Another untitled one gets added on to December 18th of 2026. Now, assuming these movies are the ones that we know are in development, so we kind of have 4 to pick from with the Daisy Ridley-led Rey New Jedi Order movie, the Dave Filoni Mandoverse movie, and the James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi movie. If I remember, I may just be fully speculating here, but I believe that they said that it was going to be Rey, Mando, Dawn of the Jedi.
I'm gonna be totally real with you.
Yeah.
I only knew about one of those movies.
Really?
Yeah, I knew about the Rey one because, of course, everyone got really mad at the letters R-E-Y in that order specifically.
Yeah, followed by a woman of color writing and directing.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Anyway, they think we'll make it that far.
They think we'll make it that far. This is much closer. This is only a few years away. I will say, I brought this up on Twitter, and I don't want to be like a backseat fucking producer. I will say, however, first of all, I think it's hilarious that I don't think any of these release dates are final. I think the Marvel ones will probably stick. I do not think this is going to stay the same for the Star Wars ones. these are all in such early development. I think these are placeholders at best. So part of me is like, yay, 2 Star Wars movies in 1 year. I would rather them be a little further apart. You know, I understand some people don't want to go back to a Star Wars movie a year. I know people want them to feel a little bit more eventized. And, you know, Kathleen Kennedy had her comments back at Celebration about making them feel like Bond in the way that, you know, it's only every couple of years you get a Bond movie. Now there's this. I don't think this will stick. However, what does frighten me a little bit is this May 22nd, 2026 release date, because if this stays, it will be up against the Avengers Kang Dynasty. And part of me worries that if this specific release date stays, that the Rey movie is going to have to compete with Kang Dynasty. And
I think on both ends, the dates are so uncertain right now.
Yeah.
Something's going to, like, this is obviously, they're shuffling in the moment and don't see that.
Yeah. And I know I said the MCU ones are probably going to stick. I think the Avengers ones are the ones that are the most likely to still shift and probably will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Like I think like Deadpool, Cap, Thunderbolts. I think those are going to stay. You know, Blade might get shifted again, but that's just because they've been having like issues just making it work, which is part of the process. But I get nervous that the Rey movie
solo.
Yeah, that's what I said on Twitter. I'm afraid what I fear, and again, this is me assuming that like we're in the same place politically in 2026 that we will be, and just we've been in the same place politically for almost a decade now. It's just different permutations of the same fucking arguments. I don't want, in whatever way, the culture war and like the anti-woke brigade like continue to like devolve into insanity. In 2026, I do not want a situation where the woke Star Wars movie starring a woman, written and directed by a woman, that if rumors are true, Idris Elba is supposed to be the villain in. So the incredibly woke Star Wars movie going toe-to-toe with the Avengers movie, that the Star Wars one gets cannibalized like what happened with Solo. And not to lend credence to any like fandom menace culture war talking points, but you know, it's not that Rey is a divisive character, but she's not a lot. She has unfortunately become a symbol of like the weird, like weirdo dude and their ire, right? And part of me gets worried that again, a movie written and directed by a woman of color, led by a woman, co-led by a man of color, is going to get cannibalized by Avengers. And that in the same way that these same people said, see, nobody wanted woke Star Wars. They wanted not woke action movie. Now, obviously, the fucking fandom menace hates the MCU too now. So they aren't going to have, they won't have the luxury of saying that Secret Wars wasn't, or that Kang Dynasty wasn't woke. Because there will obviously be all of the quote unquote woke characters in that movie. So all of that weird culture war shit, I'm sure, is going to muddy this some more. But just because I think Avengers, similarly to Solo, is more, does not beg the question who asked for this. You know, like I know like when Solo came out, that was a big thing. Who asked for a Han Solo origin movie? Now, I can tell you this. There's a lot of people who are asking for more Rey.
Yeah.
You know,
that is true. We've gotten so much Star Wars centered around. I've been in a Star Wars mood recently. I don't know why. So like, I'm down to just talk this for a minute.
Fucking rules.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just played Jedi Survivor 1.5 times. So.
Pause before we get back into this. I've been waiting to talk about this with you. Our first conversation about Jedi Survivor. I think you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
You made an interesting comment to me that I want to unpack. We were talking about spoilers for Jedi Survivor. This is just like the first level and nothing too crazy.
No.
We were talking about
it's been over a month. You can spoil Jedi Survivor.
we were talking about the confrontation with the Ninth Sister at the beginning of the game. And I said that even after beating the game twice, the moment where Cal kills the Ninth Sister has like stuck with me and affected me very much. To which you simply replied, "Checks out." What do you mean by that?
So, like, Jared, what's your favorite? Oh, okay, I should. Before The Last Jedi came out, what was your favorite Star Wars movie?
Phantom Menace or Return of the Jedi.
Okay, we're sticking with the one that proves my point. What's your favorite thing about Return of the Jedi? What's a moment that stands out to you in Return of the Jedi?
I mean, somewhere either Luke's like Luke's triumph over both Vader and the Emperor, or like the sail barge rescue.
We're gonna stick with the first one. Jared, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
The Last Jedi.
Jared, what's your favorite thing about Luke in The Last Jedi? Like, what moments stick out to you in The Last Jedi?
The moments that stick out to me in The Last Jedi, that really deeply affected me is the way that Luke talks about the weight of heroism and how the Jedi represent something that is more something to be aspired to and not something that's easily achieved, and the complicated legacy that the Jedi have and their actual track record, and how time is a flat circle. And in the same way that Obi-Wan, Windu, and Yoda accidentally created Darth Vader, that Luke Skywalker accidentally created Kylo Ren, and just how hard it is to be a hero and still rising to that occasion. And the way that Luke bloodlessly, without a single loss of life, saves the Resistance on Crate.
So, what you're saying is you love moments in Star Wars where a Jedi ascends the barrier that is the set rules of the Order of the Republic that we know to be faulty, and really comes into their own as a hero and as a person, right? Like they fully take in this Jedi identity and make it their own thing. Weird how this moment that we see with, right? So that's actually a thing I really loved about this game, was that Cal feels like a fully evolved, well, not fully evolved because he's still evolving, but like there's a clear distinction between Fallen Order and Survivor.
It makes me really happy that was your takeaway, because I sincerely thought it was just like the edgy cool factor.
I mean, that adds points.
I really thought you were kind of reading me for being an edgelord. And it was like, of course you love the moment where Cal monologued and cut someone's fucking head off.
Well, so the monologue part isn't even edgy. The monologue part is a spoken version of like Obi-Wan and Maul having their final confrontation on Tatooine, right? Like that, because that's the vibe I got from it. Like when I felt that moment for the first time, it was like, oh, okay, this is
that, and the way he just looks so tired after he kills her. Like, it's just like where you can tell where it's like, this is not right with my soul, but like I have to keep going.
There's no way for me to save you.
Yeah.
In like realistically, no way for me to save you. And if I don't, like, in this moment, you will take my life if I don't do this.
Yeah. And if I beat you and don't kill you, I've seen you're going to come back.
Like, yeah.
Part of me wants to start a new game plus just to fight the fucking Ninth Sister again tonight. It was so good. Anyway. Yeah, back to this movie. Assuming it's the Rey one, I don't want it to get cannibalized by Avengers. I don't think this will happen, but it is something that I am a little nervous about.
I really think any Star Wars movie would get cannibalized by Avengers at this point.
Oh, same. It's just like, symbolically, it being the Rey movie is what frightens me.
The optics from like an advertiser's perspective and from a stockholder's perspective of,
and I just don't want to give the fucking grifter sphere like this totem. You know, these people are still making the argument that Solo failed because of pansexual Lando and like droid rights feminism, and there were 4 women in the movie, you know, stuff like that, or like the weird nostalgia factor of, you know, it was someone who's not Harrison Ford playing Han. That like all of like that is still used as his bargaining chip, and not the fact that Bob Iger said, we sent this movie to die, we fucked up, that's on me.
Do you think that's why they're CGIing Mark Hamill in for Luke? Because I've been thinking about this recently, right? Because he's been posting. I love that they've kept him involved. That does make me happy. But
I think you finish your thought, because I have a longer answer.
I think it would be perfectly acceptable to just have the actor who is like, or have an actor who looks like him without any CGI playing the part, and just have maybe like have Hamill there as a guide for them.
I think,
if you even want to go that far,
I think it's really weird territory. You know, Harrison has made it clear that he doesn't really want to, you know, don the jacket in the DL-44.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to do that for every character.
Yeah,
if the actor wants to.
I think it's that. I think it's the fact that Mark Hamill clearly loves playing Luke Skywalker, and not to like lend credence to the whole, you know, Mark Hamill hated The Last Jedi and what it did with Luke Skywalker. He's on the record of saying like that is a clip of him that's taken out of context thousands of times, and we're not going to litigate that right now. But I do understand Mark Hamill also like wanting to play Luke in his golden age. You know, in the same way, like Ewan McGregor's spoiled. He has gotten to be young buck Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's gotten to be, you know, like the burgeoning Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. He has gotten to be the Master. He's gotten to be the like shattered, failed mentor. And at the end of that show, he got to be old Ben. Like Ewan McGregor's gotten to play basically every era of Obi-Wan. And I understand Mark Hamill wanting to get to dip his toe into this era of Luke that has frankly never existed on screen. Save for like the Jedi Academy video games back in the aughts, you know. So I understand the impulse to bring Mark back into the fold, and recognizing that, you know, he obviously can't play Luke circa Mark being in the 80s. But, you know, they can do this stuff where like he's kind of the body and kind of doing mocap and helping direct Luke. So I think that's part of it. And I also think it's a decision made by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who, like, you know, wanted it to be Mark. I like, you know, with the inevitable Dave Filoni movie, you know, again, if the rumors are to be believed, are going to be called Heir to the Empire. Like if the big 3 from the original trilogy play a major part, Mark Hamill even said, recast me. Have a whole ass other actor there to play Luke. And I think that should go for Han and Leia as well. I think you absolutely should have Alden Ehrenreich just reprise his role as Han Solo. You know, have either of the body the body double mocap guys for Luke play Luke in that situation. You know, I mean, if they can act worth a damn, if not, recast them to like have somebody who like can put on a stronger performance. And if Billie Lourd is willing to play her late mother's character in a more, you know, substantive way than she did in that brief Rise of Skywalker thing, you know, Billie Lourd's right there to play Leia. So if they were to do it, I think that's the way to do it, you know. And, you know, the whole CGIing somebody back to life is very strange territory. I think it's very dependent on the performer and how they feel about it, or how they would feel about it, and the estates of certain performers, you know, like not to be macabre or, you know, upsetting, but like, you know, Harrison is, you know, a bit older than Mark. So like, you know, who knows if Harrison's still around by the time that movie comes out, you know? And then you get into weird territory of like, do you recast Han Solo or do you like fucking CGI him in? And like, I don't know, you know, Harrison Ford doesn't seem to really give a damn about Han Solo. So, like, would he fucking care if you CGI'd him because he doesn't give a shit about Han Solo? Or would, like, the Harrison Ford estate be incredibly offended by that? Because it's like, he doesn't fucking like Han Solo. Why are you bringing him back from the dead to play this character he doesn't like? So I think I think all of that is really complicated. And I think you know, it's weird. It's all weird. It's all weird. And I think my comfort level with a lot of this stuff is fully dependent on the estates of families and what actors say to do with them in their wake of their passing. What's up?
Oh no, I'm just like, everything's weird. The future is now.
Yeah. Did you see the shit about the Beatles album that's coming out?
I'm gonna go walk in the traffic. It's fine. We're done. We're done.
Paul McCartney said there's going to be a final Beatles album with AI assisted John Lennon vocals.
So, at work, my main thing I do is I set up sales tax exemptions for our customers. Right?
I just realized that in my brain I have to stop visualizing when you say
Walmart
at work is like the back room of a Walmart.
Right?
I just realized I can't that my mind can't go there anymore.
I still say we, referring to the store, like I do the whole bit, you know. Certain states in the US for sales tax exemption, like it never expires. Like as long as you don't move or like nothing changes about your business, if you get exempt for something, you are exempt forever. In our system, obviously forever isn't an option. We have to put an end date for your certification. So we put December 31st, 2099. And every time I enter that date, I think we're not going to make it there. We're not going to make it there.
What year did you say?
2099. 2099.
Miguel O'Hara time.
Yeah. I didn't even put that together until you just said it. I also think someone in 2099 is going to have a real hell of a day when they find out they have so many certifications that are about to go bad. It's going to be a rough, if we make it there.
If we make it there.
Someone's going to have a rough day at the office when they figure out what we did. Really bad Christmas. But every time I enter that date, I'm like, man, I don't know about this date. I don't think this is a real date and time that exists. And every day I hear something like, there's a new Beatles album coming out with AI. I'm like, yeah, I'm right. It's fine. We're not getting there, folks.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
Yep.
Anyway. Oh, sorry, guys. I buried the lead so hard with this story. The live action Moana got delayed to June of 2025.
The Rock is furious.
It's been a bad fucking year to be The Rock. Did you see that dog shit Young Rock show got canceled too?
Oh no. You mean Everybody Hates Chris again?
No. I mean, maybe. I didn't watch much of Everybody Hates Chris. Was the whole premise of Everybody Hates Chris that Chris eventually became the president?
No.
That's like the main subplot of Young Rock, is that it's a future where Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, so it's not even like The Rock telling his story. It's The Rock making. I mean, obviously, I'm sure like Everybody Hates Chris is a script. It's not literally Chris Rock's life, but like.
No, I mean a lot of it, like the young Rock part of it is like baby Dwayne Johnson. And then it'll cut to the present day, and he's the fucking president or running for president.
Okay, so that's very different because I mean, what Everyone Hates Chris was on Nick at Night for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, primary viewing experience for most sitcoms, I think, for people of our generation. But no, there was never a point where it cuts and Chris Rock is like prime minister of some country. That doesn't happen.
Prime minister.
Poll Britain right now. Would they rather have their current prime minister or Chris Rock? I guarantee they vote for Chris Rock. I don't even know who their prime minister is.
I mean, there's been a few in the past year.
Exactly. That's why I don't know.
One last story here that is a little bit on the heavier side before we do take a break here for a second. Tenoch Huerta, who recently starred in Wakanda Forever as Namor, has had some sexual assault accusations come out against him. Very, very serious stuff, upsetting stuff. The accusations come from musician and activist Maria Elena Rios, who is, I read from this AV article here. Rios raised the allegations in a thread that also condemned activist organization Poder Prieto for protecting Huerta after the organization, a collective of actors and media figures standing against racism in the entertainment industry, shared an episode of the podcast. I'm not even going to say the podcast. I'm going to embarrass myself and offend a lot of people. That featured Rios. Rios, a former member of Poder Prieto, alleged that the group aired the podcast without her consent and also never compensated her for her work. And again, you said that Huerta is a violator and sexual predator. We will see how this shapes up. Obviously, there's a lot of I'm sorry. I should include this. I apologize. I forgot. I didn't realize this article was updated. I was about to try to hop over to a different one. After Poder Prieto responded with his own defense, arguing that he did not actually air the episode and only promoted it, Rios accused the organization of protecting Huerta, one of its spokespeople. And in the meantime, Huerta has also claimed his innocence and has denied the allegations. So yeah, we'll see how this situation develops. It's very early in this process. Just like any other situation like this, we probably won't know all of the details of anything in either direction. But what we can hope for is that justice will be done and that fairness is, the modus operandi with this situation, and hoping for a just conclusion. With that, we're going to take a little mini break. And by that, I mean, we're just going to cut to us doing our thing. And Travis and I are going to take a pee break. And we're going to talk about some video games when we come back. So yeah, BRB. And we are back, and it is time for some gaming news. But before we jump into the video games, Travis, you have some developments on the Magic the Gathering front?
Yes. This comes out. When is this episode coming out? Tomorrow?
Yes.
So, okay. You have
Wednesday
time.
the 14th.
You have time to find a store. Magic the Gathering, Universes Beyond, The Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth.
So many subtitles.
Beta. The second one. No, actually, it's the first one. Pre-releases this weekend. Go find a game store. If you like Lord of the Rings, and you'll like Magic the Gathering. If you like Magic the Gathering, you're probably going to this anyway. Set looks incredible. I'm halfway through. I'm gonna be real for a second. Every time I talk to someone about Lord of the Rings, and I tell them I'm partway into Two Towers right now, you know what I almost say. You know what I almost tell them. And every time, it's not on purpose.
What?
Well, if there's two towers, what if they looked alike?
Fuck up. Keep going.
I'm not kidding. Every time. I just had to stop myself right now. And I'm not trying to do a bit.
How dare you, Travis?
Every time. But I'm listening to the audiobooks. They're incredible. I'm watching I've chunked the movies out a little bit. I'm partway through Fellowship because I finished the book of Fellowship. It's remarkably different. I didn't expect that much. I knew stuff got left out. I didn't expect as much of a difference as I've seen so far. But still good. And looking forward to playing card games with coolly depicted characters in the way Tolkien would have loved. I'm being genuine. Most of the internet is not.
I think he would have. I think he would have.
I fully believe that Tolkien would have seen the art for this set and been like, "This is some of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, here's why I think Tolkien would have appreciated it. Tolkien, in the course of his writing of a lot of the Middle Earth stuff, did what Rowling didn't do, and when he was criticized about like, hey, there's some weird anti-Semitic shit in here, like he didn't like fully undo it, but he like recontextualized it in a way that it was like, oh, well, let me elevate these people and have these be traits that are celebrated. And it's like, you could still criticize that, but he didn't like double down and get more anti-Semitic. He tried to like walk the shit back.
Oh yeah.
If my understanding is correct. So
yes.
I don't think Tolkien would have had as much of an issue here.
He would have seen Aragorn as he is drawn for this set, as he's depicted in this set, and like would have bought every copy of the card he could. The art around Aragorn alone,
so good.
It's some of the most incredible art in Magic. Like it's just some of the best art they've ever made. I love it so much.
I think my only issue with the Aragorn stuff is he's too armory.
That's fair. I mean, obviously,
I think that is fully. That's fully like that. My image of Aragorn wearing too much armor is fully like informed by the movies, though.
Right.
Is that in my mind? It's like Viggo Mortensen in like a tunic and trousers and like boots and not like plate armor.
Yeah, and that's also like the one I sent into the chat is the is Aragorn like at the end of Return of the King, like in the final fight. There's several Aragorns in the set. Like, all the way back to a card named Strider, where like you see his evolution over the story. You see all their evolutions over the story. The set's incredible. It looks so great. I'm so excited. Go play the set if you can this weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm seeing Aragorn the Uniter. So that one's more Viggo Mortensen core. Aragorn and Arwen wed. I love this one. It's so giving High Republic. Another Uniter. I mean, the art's incredible. And there's another Uniter where this one's
there's three of them,
but it's still really cool.
Because some of the cards form like panorama shots if you put them together. Yeah, the ones that don't really have a border, like if you line them all up, like I forget how big the one for the final battle with Aragorn in it is, but he's like the centerpiece of it, and then the cards all build around him. It's so cool.
I just saw one of Saruman, and it's like it's very much the TikTok Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love casting spells. I just say that to myself when I walk around the house sometimes.
That's good.
I just whisper it.
See, I hear the one TikTok sound where it's Saruman and Gandalf going back and forth, and Gandalf is like, Saruman the Stinky. Saruman the Silly.
This is unfortunate. I came across a who did this one? So Ryan Keenel and the Quartering have nearly identical fucking thumbnails about this. I hate these fuckers. I mean, the Fandom Menace people belong in fucking camps, and I'm tired of pretending they don't. That's gonna get clipped.
I'm going down with you.
Thank you. So jumping into some video game talk. So I'm gonna go first. And you know why I'm gonna go first? Travis gets to have all the fun of being the guy on this podcast who's known for being fully up to date with the batshit insane lore of a given video game franchise. Now, granted, both of us are pretty up to date with it. Travis is more Assassin's Creed literate. However, I am going to up the ante because, to my knowledge, you don't know shit about fuck when it comes to Mortal Kombat.
I could name characters.
Okay.
I had Mortal Kombat, I think it was 2 for the Game Boy when I was little. and didn't understand what I was seeing on my little Game Boy or what was happening as I fought up the tower. I just knew that I could not win, and I kept getting my spine ripped out.
That tends to happen.
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about Mortal Kombat lore.
There's this actor guy who should not be there, and I have no idea how he contends with like supernatural beings like Scorpion and Frozone.
And Frozone?
I forgot Sub-Zero's name.
Hold on. I just found my clip for this week, so let me just take a picture of the time code real quick.
I just blanked, so I'm like, blue guy, ice, frozen. There's no F in the name. What is his name? It's something cold. It's not Captain Cold. That's Flash. Go with the meme. Frozen.
Hanzo, where is my super suit?
That's what I got. I got Frozone.
Oh, so fucking funny. Okay. So you know of the actor guy Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage, that's his name. I thought it was Johnny something, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Johnny Cage. So there's an actor who's able to contend with multi black belts and magic people.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
There's like dimensional shit, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about all I got.
Okay. So there are many realms.
Mm-hmm.
Earth realm is where all the normal people come from. There's Outworld, and there's the Nether realm. Those are the important ones for this conversation. Shao Kahn, the leader of Outworld, wants to invade and conquer Earth realm, as he has done with numerous other realms. Now, the reason he can't is because the Elder Gods decided that an invading realm must win the Mortal Kombat tournament 10 consecutive times before another realm can invade and conquer a different realm. So Raiden, the Thunder God, who's like one of the emissaries of the Elder Gods and is the guardian of Earth Realm, puts together like a ragtag group of Earth Realm warriors to protect Earth Realm in the Mortal Kombat tournament. Now, I will say Johnny Cage is himself magical and is able to call on some weird form of green bubble magic. But is also like has some amount of like super durability and is able to contend because he himself is kind of magical. So there were 8 mainline Mortal Kombat games through the 80s and 90s. I think the 80s. And the 90s through the early 2000s. And Mortal Kombat 9, which came out late 2000s, early 2010s.
I want to say it was 2008. That might be wrong. I remember everyone loving Mortal Kombat 9.
So
like I remember that cultural event, right?
So Mortal Kombat 9 is a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
But
I knew that.
A canonical reboot. So 9 begins with like part of the ending from the last game where Shao Kahn is about to kill Raiden, who has like been corrupted by this amulet worn by another god named Shinnok. And Shao Kahn's about to kill Raiden, and Raiden sends a psychic message back to his past self that kicks off a chain of events where Mortal Kombat 9 condenses, I believe, the first 3 or 4 games into one. Mm-hmm. It kind of does what Soul Calibur 6 did, where it condenses a bunch of lore into one game. But some of it changes. So like Johnny Cage doesn't die in the initial battle, in the initial invasion of Earthrealm, because Raiden sends this like really cryptic message back where he goes, to save Earthrealm, he must win. And Raiden thinks that means Liu Kang, who's like his like main dog in the fight, kind of his Padawan in a way. What Raiden realizes is that the Elder Gods cannot intervene unless and until Shao Kahn fully illegally tries to conquer Earth. So Raiden eventually realizes he must win means Shao Kahn needs to come this close to conquering Earthrealm for the Elder Gods to step in. Now, by the end of Mortal Kombat 9, a lot of our heroes have died in the line of battle, and Raiden accidentally kills Liu Kang. Mortal Kombat X or 10, whatever you want to call it, picks up. A bunch of our heroes are still undead. Some of them get better and join the good guy side. But the ones that are undead are basically working with Shinnok, and then eventually supplant Shinnok once he is defeated by Raiden, who then, as he did in the old timeline, turned to the dark side and like brings Shinnok's still alive severed head to the undead revenant evil versions of Liu Kang and Kitana, who is the forcibly adopted daughter of Shao Kahn, because her dimension was conquered by Shao Kahn. So evil Kitana and evil Liu Kang reign over the Nether Realm. And then there's some weird time travel bullshit in Mortal Kombat 11, where like the old classic like 80s and 90s versions of these characters fight alongside their current day counterparts. A bunch of the like OG Mortal Kombat cast has kids. So Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade have their kid Cassie Cage. Yeah. Jackson Briggs has his daughter Jackie Briggs. My boy Kenshi has a kid named Takeda who has these badass like ninja laser whips. Yeah, it's fucking cool. Mortal Kombat is so silly and it's amazing. But anyway, some of the combat kids, as they're called, are fighting alongside their parents. Sonya Blade dies in the line of battle, and we find out that all of this has been organized and kind of like repeatedly pressed shuffle on to get her ideal timeline by this elder god named Chronica, who like is like manipulating time and shit. So everything comes to a head. All of these like temporally dispersed versions of these characters align on either side to either like rewrite the timeline or like save the timeline and unfuck it. Chronica and the good guys respectively. And they all go to war, and Liu Kang becomes Fire God Liu Kang because he and Raiden merge, and Liu Kang defeats Chronica. And then there's an expansion DLC that I haven't played, where basically all of that happens a second time, from what I understand. Only this time Shang Tsung is involved, and Liu Kang gets to begin his new sacred timeline anew, and that is where Mortal Kombat 1 picks up. Also, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are like best friends by Mortal Kombat 10.
As expected.
Like they become BFFs. Like I love it. It makes me so happy.
When you're like the eternal landmark characters of your franchise and you're supposed to be rivals, you eventually become best buds, right?
My twin shirt to your Goku and Vegeta shirt is in the other room.
Yes.
Early listeners will know I got Travis and I matching Goku and Vegeta shirts for his birthday a couple years ago. I have no idea how any of us thought I was straight. But anyway, so Mortal Kombat 1 is upon us. It's going to be coming out in September, and boy, oh boy, am I excited. They're going to be introducing a new system called the Cameo Fighters, which is going to be really cool. So it's basically going to function like an assist.
Okay, that makes sense.
Semi akin to like how Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom works.
Dragon Ball has it too. Dragon Ball Fighters does assist.
Dragon Ball has one as well. The assist system, however, is going to be a little more complicated than that, and you're going to actually be able to like feed your assist combos. Like the gameplay I was watching, like so there's like the X-ray critical attack thing you can do in Mortal Kombat. I saw cameo fighters doing mini X-rays in the gameplay I watched, and like cameo fighters doing fatalities. So like it's not a tag team thing, and it's like an assist with more going on.
Because like I know in Fighters now, I mean I haven't played Fighters since like season 1-ish, like before it was really season 1. Every character had their set assist if you had them on your team, and that was it. I know now you can set different things to be their assist. So like if I have Krillin on my assist, he can throw a rock, throw a Sensu Bean, throw a Kienzan, whatever. So that sounds to me like when you pick your assist, you set a combo for them.
Yeah, here, let me try to see. There's a link here in the article. I'm trying to see if it like expands on the cameo fighter thing. But yeah, no, that looks super cool. There's a leaked version of the roster going around. We'll see if that's true. I mean, it's coming from a reliable leaker, so the roster looks like it's going to be stacked. This is something Travis has heard me bitch about for years now, that my favorite Mortal Kombat character did not come back in Mortal Kombat 11. And
it's always the worst feeling.
I mained Kenshi in MKX so hard that I like physically was horrible. I like physically could not be good in Mortal Kombat 11. I was like, I could only play as fucking Kenshi.
Yeah, Killick not being the staff user of Soul Calibur 5 took a lot away from Soul Calibur 5 for me.
Yeah, and it's weird because like Shiba, like a lot of people thought Shiba was just going to be like a reskinned Killick. He moves differently. Like there are different nuances between Shiba and Killick.
I mean, he's more Monkey King-esque.
He's more Monkey King, yeah. But yeah, this is coming out in September. Travis, have you heard about the characters who are supposed to be in the DLC for this?
I feel like I saw things floating around, and because like, we process so much information in an hour now that I don't remember. And when you say it, I'm going to remember it.
Hold on. I want to read the full list to you. Because I want to save my favorite one for last.
If Freddy Fazbear isn't on this list,
they could totally do that now, though, because WB's doing the movie. Holy shit, that would be so fucking funny. Okay, hold on. So the leak, the leak came from an early Amazon listing from Amazon Italy.
Yep.
So the 6 playable characters in Combat Pack 1 are allegedly going to be Quan Chi, who is the evil sorcerer. He's not a guest character. Ermac, the undead ninja necromancer, and Takeda, Kenshi's son, which would make sense since Kenshi will also be on the roster. In the realm of guest characters, we have Peacemaker.
Okay.
Of the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker fame.
Yeah.
We have Omni-Man of Invincible fame. And my personal favorite, the character I said I was going to main until I found out Kenshi's going to be in the game. Travis, I'm going to give you 3 guesses, and I will give you this hint. They are a super-powered character from a very popular superhero franchise of the last few years.
Oh, okay. I did see this one. Yes. Homelander.
Yes!
Yeah. I did hear about that one.
I tweeted an edit I made of when I was still blonde where I put my head on Homelander's body. And I was like, I know who I'm going to main. And that is going, and listen, the plan for whenever this room is turned into a studio is I do want to get into streaming stuff. When Mortal Kombat comes out, I will be playing a lot as Homelander. Dude, I can't fucking wait for Homelander in Mortal Kombat, dude.
It works. My only thing is I know their power. I don't know exactly if their powers are similar, but Omni-Man feels a little close.
So Omni-Man is like flight and super speed,
right?
Where Homelander has basically the full Superman package.
Yeah. Okay, so Omni-Man doesn't have laser eyes.
No, to my knowledge, I don't think Omni-Man can use heat vision. He doesn't have super breath.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you could. Super breath isn't a necessity, and I guess you could just make it so you have a more close-in fighter with Omni-Man and a ranged fighter with Homelander.
Yeah, I mean, there's also an argument to be made where they could do the premium skin thing they did with Injustice, where Omni-Man and Homelander are actually the same character.
That's true.
But yeah, this is a wild lineup for Combat Pack 1. Mortal Kombat has a great history of wild fucking guest characters. But all the way back in Mortal Kombat 9, they began their tradition of having horror movie legends show up with, Freddy Krueger, and then MKX had the Alien, the Predator, Leatherface, and Jason Voorhees.
I know they had Terminator in 11, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck
yeah.
Hey, dude. Fuck, you're fucking right. They had Terminator. They had Joker in 11 as well.
Yeah, I knew Joker was in 11. I couldn't remember. I mean, you just said Terminator wasn't in 10. That's how I knew he was in one of them.
Yeah, Terminator was in 11. I want to say they had another. Oh, Spawn as well. Yeah. Was another big guest character they had. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing if they have any more DC characters involved here.
They usually play with one or two. They have access.
They didn't put any DC characters in 10, which some people were curious about because Mortal Kombat characters always show up in Injustice. Scorpion was in Injustice.
Yeah,
and both Raiden and Sub-Zero were in Injustice 2.
Was Injustice 2 out I'd have to look at years, but my guess would be because the pro circuits would have been running at the same time. They probably didn't want too much crossover.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, I know X11. I think all of the Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 9 up to Mortal Kombat 11, with both Injustices sandwiched in there, have all had active servers. At the same time, currently still.
Yeah, I just mean prominent pro circuit, I guess I should say.
Pro circuit. I'm sorry, I misheard you.
Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense. But yeah, I'm curious to see what DC characters may or may not show up. I know Mortal Kombat 11 did a really cool thing where they gave a bunch of Mortal Kombat characters DC skins.
Ooh.
It was either Cassie Cage or Sonya Blade got a Harley Quinn skin.
That seems more likely to me than designing whole new characters.
Yeah, Noob Saibot, who is the evil older brother of Scorpion, who's this weird goopy shadow ninja, got this horrifying Batman Who Laughs skin, and it was if we get Batman Who Laughs in Injustice 3, that's exactly how he'd play.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because a Noob Saibot, one of his weapons is already this horrifying gangly sickle. It's just perfect. But yeah, I'm super excited for this. Also, the combat the cameo characters who would be a part of this are Tremor. These are all classic Mortal Kombat characters. Are Tremor, Johnny Cage, Chameleon, Movado, and Farah. So yeah, very, very, very exciting stuff for Mortal Kombat. It looks beautiful. I watched the gameplay this weekend that was released. Maximilian Dude, that's my fighting game plug. When it comes to YouTubers, I like to watch.
I think I watch Max as well.
I like Caboose and I like Dynasty for like news updates as well. And if you guys are trying to get like more dedicated coverage, but I cannot wait for this. I'm going to be streaming it when I can. It makes me so happy because like I tried really hard to get into Street Fighter this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like through PlayStation Plus, I was able to download one of the Street Fighter games for free because I wanted to get into it. There's a new Street Fighter game coming out. I always talk about how I love fighters, but like I play Mortal Kombat, Injustice, and Soul Calibur, and like some Smash, and Street Fighter's like the granddaddy in many ways.
Right.
I can't get into it. I can't get into the combat system.
It's a different beast, and like
I find myself getting really angry, and I was like, I need to take a step away because I wanted to get into Street Fighter, and I wanted to get the Street Fighter Roosevelts, and I could play them when I wear it on the street. Like I had this whole image in my head that I was like, this is gonna be like Jared's gonna go full Street Fighter this year, and that didn't fucking happen.
Yeah, I every once in a while think about trying Street Fighter, and then I don't. Because I remember how like I really like Dragon Ball Fighters,
yeah,
and it's more Marvel v Capcom than Street Fighter, but like same premise in terms of its like input system.
Yeah, and I think I thought because I as a kid liked keep saying Mortal Kombat versus Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom so much as a kid that I was like, oh, I can totally get into this, and I did not realize. Because people like to say, like Marvel vs. Capcom is like Street Fighter with training wheels on.
Yeah, I mean, like because
I didn't realize how on the fucking training wheels were.
I mean, Dragon Ball's the same way. You have auto combos in Dragon Ball. You get more use of the screen than in Street Fighter. It's a lot faster, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot of practice to get like competitive with it, beyond just like I'm gonna button mash as my favorite dude and call it a day. But I like in that same vein, I can't get into Tekken. I am terrible at Tekken, and I will remain terrible at Tekken until the day I die.
Tekken scares me. I've never even attempted Tekken. Tekken was the one I decided to just take the L on.
Yeah. It took me a minute to learn that, but
this is really intimidating. And I don't know if I see like a free one on PlayStation Plus, I'll download it and give it a whirl. But I don't. I am too afraid of Tekken to try to buy it.
Tekken is Soul Calibur without the range and slower.
That's what's. Yeah, I remember. Well, Soul Calibur 5, there wasn't a character, but I think it was like Devil Jin or whatever. It was a fighting style. Like you couldn't play as him, but they added like the fighting style to the game, and like. Everybody was like, "Oh, he plays just like he does in Tekken," and I'm like, "He's moving at a snail's pace and doesn't have a weapon." So this is kind of hard. He had like laser eyes and angel wings. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a dude in Tekken.
So befuddled by it. But Travis,
I keep trying so hard not to get my hopes up. I really don't want to get my hopes up.
Good though. It looks good.
They ripped those animations straight off Assassin's Creed 2, dude. Like the running, the hiding, a lot of the stealth animations. Like I was watching, they have like a 5-minute thing out now with some of the devs. They all have very thick French Canadian accents, as they do. And they were talking about like they wanted to go back to their roots. They wanted to make to the point this game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, has a filter you can put on that blue scales the game to look like Assassin's Creed 1.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like they were like, we want you to feel like Spider-Man. You're the level they've gone to. And again, like the running animations, the stealth kills, all of the climbing. is ripped right out of like Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Which is so funny because those are the Assassin's Creed games I never really played.
Which is like they're cited by a lot of people, as myself included, as like the favorites, the best. Two of those were
I
accidents.
have the Ezio collection on my PlayStation.
You should
and
blitz through it, dude. It's
I
so
know
good.
I'm thinking about it. I because of Spider-Verse, I started playing Spider-Man again, and I was like, oh, I'm in such a Spider-Man mood. But the more I think about it, the more I think I do want to pivot back and go back to some of those Assassin's Creed games. Because like I also don't want to Spider-Man myself out because again, once I'm like streaming ready, and that's going to be our next segment here is talking about Spider-Man 2. And we're just going to have like an excerpt of the podcast that's just like the gaming stuff.
Yeah.
I want to like replay those games on stream before Spider-Man 2 comes out. Sizzle for like 2 months from now. For when I start trying to do that shit. So I don't want to get to the point where I have played Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales thrice in 1 year.
Right.
Because like I 100%ed both games early this year. And then I restarted Spider-Man PS4 just because Spider-Man movie good.
Yeah. Understandable. But I still need to play through the remaster because I have Spider-Man remastered. And even though, you know, prefer the old face, we've been over it. I do want to play through with the new, like with the Miles Morales graphics because it's just so beautiful.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
Yeah. Speaking of which, like Assassin's Creed Mirage looks incredible, and I'm gonna vanish for a month.
Yeah, we both are. It's gonna be Valhalla all over again. We're like
they're a week away from each other. Spider-Man and Assassin's Creed.
Are you shitting me? They did it again?
October 12th and October 20th.
Are we really gonna do exactly what we did in 2020?
Yeah. The difference is Spider-Man 2 is gonna be more than 8 hours long, which is gonna hurt me because it means I have to take more. And it's less time because when I want to say it was a month apart for
that was such a great time.
I put 100 hours into Valhalla.
I know.
And I really thought I was gonna. Mirage.
I really thought I was gonna go all the way into the DLC, but I beat the base game and basically went done.
Yep.
I really thought the DLC was going to consume my waking life, and it just never did.
I have the first two. I don't have the stuff in the Asgard story. And then there's the last one I think was free, and I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna look up a plot synopsis thing.
Yeah.
Only because I imagine it does have because like obviously Mirage is following Bassam.
Yeah, so you prequel,
I'm excited about the area. I'm excited about the gameplay. I imagine it's still going to play like they can't bring back the old gameplay system. If they do, I will both be excited and appalled because as you will find out if you go back and play Assassin's Creed 2, they're relics. Like they fit me like a glove. It's like riding a bicycle, except I don't know how to ride a bike.
Gang.
I fit back into it because I played Assassin's Creed 2. I want to say I finished that game 20 times. Like on weekends where my internet would go out randomly, or like when PlayStation Network was down and I had a Saturday, I was like, I'm gonna beat Assassin's Creed 2 today, and I'd start a fresh file and finish it at the end of the night. That was like, yeah.
I can say I've only ever done that for The Force Unleashed on the Wii when I was like 11, where I would beat that game once a weekend.
Yeah. Oh, I used to do that. I mean, I used to do that for Force Unleashed on the PSP.
Hey, it's the same port.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking game. So,
yeah, I'm curious to see. I want to see someone play it, which sounds weird because we've seen gameplay, but like I want to see someone holding the controller and the HUD as they play it.
Yeah.
I
Not just the
wouldn't
naked gameplay that looks all clean and pretty.
I wouldn't mind if it looks like this with the stealth that we know it's going to have, because it has, like, they showed everything. And it's weird. All of the systems they're showing are just cleaner looking versions of Assassin's Creed 2 up through like Black Flag ish. You just,
Yeah.
they aren't as prevalent in Black Flag because pirate. But like, again, the running looks the same. The blending into your social environment looks the same. You cannot, they're like, you can hire groups of people to guide you through places. I'm like, oh, the courtesans that you could hire. Like, you're remaking an old school Assassin's Creed game, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain. But I'm really curious to see what it actually plays like.
Same. I'm very excited to see that.
You will find out like somewhere maybe in December when I come back to the land of the living.
Fret not, everybody. I'm going to make sure Travis shows up on the podcast a couple times to talk about the games. At least I'm going to try. Rounding out our video game conversation, Travis, so the Spider-Man gameplay is kind of old news. I don't fucking care. I'm a happy boy.
I'm going to be honest. I forgot. I knew the state of play was that day. Completely forgot. Opened my thing to see Spider-Man. I went, oh, I should watch that, huh?
So what's really funny is apologies for a bit of a crass joke inbound. In the Comic Book Cast Facebook group while I was watching the state of play. I was getting ornery waiting for a Spider-Man trailer and made a post in that Facebook group that simply read, "Whose dick I gotta suck for a Spider-Man trailer?" And then 15 minutes later, the trailer came out. But most people didn't see the post until after the trailer came out.
They were too busy watching the state of play.
Yeah, truly. But I then realized that like that was a 1 in a million joke for like it's that like that is a post that is infinitely funnier to see after the trailer had come out, because there were a whole lot of people who were just like, "Thank you for your service."
That's good. That's good, because everything I saw was like my Twitter thread when I opened it was so many people, like just individual people going, "There better be a Spider-Man trailer." Thank God there was a Spider-Man trailer. Like those were the tweets, and one was either quote tweet or reply. No images, nothing. I managed to get into the gameplay without seeing pretty much anything. Besides, like, I knew the black suit was there, which I love how the black suit looks in this game. I like that it looks gross.
Me too. I like that it looks gross and icky. Richard agrees with us. I don't know if anyone else can hear him yelling. But no, it looks so good. And I'm excited to see if it evolves over time. I know some people are speculating that it might be a Spectacular Spider-Man situation where like the suit evolves over time. But I love the symbol. I love that it goes all around his body. No shade to any fan artists. This looks infinitely better than like the mock-ups we've seen where people just basically use a shader to turn like the advanced suit black.
And like that's always what the black suit is. It's just his suit but black. I like that this is different. I like that you can tell he's covered in something, right?
Yeah.
Because like realistically speaking, and I say that knowing that I'm talking about Spider-Man, but like this goop is covering him as a suit that he's using it in combat.
Yeah.
So it's not going to sit on him like fabric.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand some people who like prefer the symbiote to like permeate his suit and like live within the fabric, because that like it isn't so immediately evil and menacing.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
and I understand that. I also think there's an argument to be made that like Peter's using it out of desperation as well. You know, I think there's Spider-Man PS4 is such a tight fucking script and tells such a damn good Spider-Man story that I am not going to question a single narrative decision until I play this game.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Here's my thing. First of all, if I get left on red one more goddamn time by a story this year, even no matter how perfect I think it is, I'm gonna be upset. So he better put that black suit away by the end of the game. But also I know he can't, because they're not gonna program all these combat things for him to do with the black suit and not let you do it in the post game. But also
post game, I think that they'll treat the post game as like a non-canon type deal, where like you can just like, congratulations, you can wear the black suit again at the end of the game.
Probably. I hope that's the case, because like I would prefer, again, my whole thing with any kind of nerd thing that isn't a comic book, and even in a comic book, but like when you're telling a story and you're so limited on real estate to tell it.
Mm-hmm.
Less so in a video game. You get upwards of 20 hours in a video game. They've spent years and years on this game, right? Hopefully it has passed inspection in terms of gameplay quality, which I'm sure it will. I trust the story. I trust what we're getting as a Spider-Man story. Just I don't want it to Spider-Verse me. I don't want it to Jedi Survivor me. I love them. I love both those stories. I think they're immaculate. Incredible.
The fan in you wants more.
Yes.
It's not a story critique. It's just you're hungry.
Yes. Same with, I mean, like, I can't expect much from Assassin's Creed, but I'd like some kind of resolution to something.
I mean, man, I really hope we get some modern day, like, not like a full resolution, but at the very least, like putting a bow on where we're at in the modern day.
I just want to know what the hell's going on. I just want to, what's Loki doing? What's he doing? He's got a plan. We know he has a plan.
What's Bassam Loki up to?
Yeah, like he had a plan. He froze himself for thousands of years for something. Well, for 1,000 years, I guess. He's got to have a plan.
He's on that.
Is his plan to reunite the Spider-Verse together? Who knows?
Shit. I lost my... Shit. I was going to make a joke. Oh, he's on his... I lost his name again.
Oh.
Help. The Crazy High Republic Jedi.
Oh, Dagan Gera.
Yeah. He's on that Dagan Gera type beat. But the gameplay looks incredible. Fucking Yuri Lowenthal. Oh my god.
I love that it sounds unnatural. I love it.
I know. Like it's
like, I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah, like it sounds like something like it sounds like Peter's kind of off his rocker. Like, and that he's not fully in control, but he knows what he's doing. And I've seen a lot of other people like talking about like you have to walk a tightrope with the black suit stories, and I do agree with this. That it's like Peter is making choices, and you don't want to create a situation where like Peter gets rid of the symbiote, and he can instantaneously be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Peter either needs to like really hold himself accountable when he sheds the suit, or people need to walk away from him. And part of me is cagey that like we're going to spend the third game rekindling our relationship with MJ if she drops Peter for fucking around with the symbiote. Which, like, valid, like it would make sense character-wise. I just, as a player, do not want to have to woo Mary Jane again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it would be a plot beat that would be kind of, retready. But oh my god, and like, dude, I am a firm truther with the Shocker stuff. If we don't get it, I'm going to be so sad.
They have to.
They have to
They have
fucking
to.
do it.
It'll probably be
he's
like
in he's shown in a cinematic. Whenever Craven's looking at like all the people who are running around New York, which also our first look at Wraith, Yuri Watanabe's super alter ego, which was like my favorite part of the DLC. I get chills every time I replay The City That Never Sleeps, and you find the mobster who's like, oh my god, oh, I love it so much, and I can't wait to meet Wraith. But like I just Shocker! I need it so bad.
There's no way it won't be a side mission of some kind.
Or like there's at least a reference.
Yeah.
Like I need it so badly. You can't escape me. I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. I fucking need it so bad. My body is shaking. I love it. I thought the same thing. I saw Shockers on the map, and then I saw the symbiote, and I went, "Damn, wouldn't that be funny?" And then I opened Twitter, and everybody else beat me to the fucking joke. Twitter and TikTok, everybody with that same clip from the goddamn cartoon. Also, Miles looks incredible. I don't want to give him the shaft. I mean, I'm a symbiote girly, so like I'm getting a little hung up on the Peter stuff. But like both of them having the web wings. But Miles, we see like so the stealth gameplay, the like web zip line that you can kind of cast out, very Batman, Arkham games. The way you can like chain the Venom combos together looks so cool. I'm just super excited, man.
And I was so curious, and just didn't put two and two together that, in Miles Morales, you drop a lot of the suit upgrades, like the suit gear for the Venom powers, which makes sense because Miles doesn't need suit powers. He has the two most OP suit powers built into his power set.
Yes.
So then what do you do when like we all kind of assumed there's no way they're making a Spider-Man 2 where you don't play as both? Miles has to have his powers. What do you give Peter to compensate? Because you can't have one of them have suit powers. Like you could, I guess, but that's a big system to implement for only half of the game.
Yeah.
And it just makes so much sense to be like, well, yeah, we know he's going to have the symbiote. He has symbiote powers. Oh, maybe. Oh, you know what?
Well, we also know from that first trailer that we see like Peter's normal suit has like the spider arms on it.
Yeah, maybe that evolves by the end of the game and he doesn't have the symbiote anymore, but like his suit can nanotech kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Which also, I'm just going to say, hold on. I'm full screening myself.
Okay.
Y'all, put the fucking superior suit in this goddamn game, please. If giant metal spider arms are a core game mechanic and you don't put auto suit in this game, I think Insomniac is just fucking with me at this point. I do. I'm not laughing. I'm not kidding. I think they're just fucking with me at this point. I think it's personal. Like it's like Insomniac, you get two options. You put the superior Spider-Man suit in this game. Or Spider-Man 4 is an adaptation of Superior Spider-Man, and that's why you haven't given it to me yet.
I was gonna say, like, what if it's the game after this one?
I don't think it'll be 3. I think 3 is going to be our big Green Goblin confrontation.
That's fair. I could see it being this game.
3, I don't think so. I think it's too much. I think the Kraven plot line is going to facilitate Peter turning to the dark side and having to like morally wrestle with the symbiote.
Yeah, so like assuming we get a remap of the first game, Kraven's going to be our Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
And you're going to beat Kraven and everything's going to look cleaned up. And then
I'll even go so far as to say I think Kraven will populate the first half, but when you beat him, you're going to have more problems than you had when you started. Like I don't think there's going to be that brief moment of like, hey, we won the day, and then Otto goes fucking nuts. I think it's going to be, yay, we beat Craven at what cost? Because Peter's off his rocker. Miles and MJ want nothing to do with him. You know, Yuri is ravaging the city. You know, like going too far with her form of vigilante justice. That's where I think the game is headed, in my opinion. I think you're going to hit a point where like the back half of the game is going to make you like relinquish the symbiote, while like Craven just caused more problems. And I think the game will end. We'll get set up for the third game. Third game will come along, and like in my dreams, in my wildest dreams, you go into like the last 3 or 4 missions and Peter's acting weird. You know. And like, and I don't know, man. And listen, I know there are some people out there who are worse than me or are full like superior Spider-Man truthers with the Insomniac games. Who are like, they set Ock up as like his like dark mentor. They're leaning into the whole degenerative nerve disease that like, which is why he does the body switch in the comics. That like they're leaning into all this stuff. They have to be headed that direction. I am not so hopeful that I think that's going to happen. I cannot allow myself to be. Because I don't want to be disappointed and it be my own fault for being like, they're gonna do it. I'm gonna get a whole video game of my favorite comic book story. But if they were to do it and lean into that, first of all, like, I know suspension of disbelief here. Like, I do think it's a big jump with like scientific sci-fi woo-woo bullshit to go from like a bunch of people in mech armor and people with like science magic to
but we know the Avengers
brains.
Like, we have the Avengers in this universe. We know that. We have
the Sanctum Sanctorum is there. That's true.
Right.
Too, yeah.
Like that we're not there. The reason I think the Insomniac Spider-Man is so good is it does what I always praise DC for doing in its not live action movie stuff, where you get dropped in. Like, it's one of the reasons it's such a good Spider-Man story is like, we don't need references to, we don't need a flashback that shows, like, we know.
Pay lip service to it where it matters for the character.
Yeah, which like happens in any Spider, like in the comics, they're gonna bring up Uncle Ben every once in a while. You know, it happens. Like, I'm not pretending like it doesn't serve its purpose, but we don't see his tango with any of the other villains that are locked up. We don't need to introduce every character. We don't have to give them all, but like you paid $60 to $70 for a Spider-Man game. You have some idea who Rhino and Scorpion and Mysterio and like, especially now, like you have an idea of who these characters are. And you are smart enough because, again, you bought this game for $60 to $70 probably, unless you pirated it, which, like, yo ho. I'll never fault anyone. But, like, you know what you're getting into. You don't need spoon-fed the story. Insomniac knows that, so they get to spend all of their time writing this incredible narrative for the player.
Yeah. And the villains that you meet are that you're meeting for the first time are like big ones who like they can really sink their teeth into.
So the idea that we could move on at some point relatively soon in this frame, assuming we keep going after this one, which I want, everyone wants.
Yeah, I don't see them wrapping this up anytime soon.
And I want them to keep the pace. Like, one of the things that made Arkham such an incredible series, like it's such a monument, was they took 4 years in between each game, which at the time, like, was unprecedented. Call of Duty had a release every year. Battlefield started having a release every year. Every action, like God of War, even before it hit the PS4, God of War had to like release sub games just to like keep making money as an IP. Assassin's Creed went into a game every year.
Yeah, which did eventually just became harmful for the brand and the franchise.
Right, it happened to all of them. And Arkham, like the one extra game they have wasn't made by Rocksteady, right? Origins, and it's still a serviceable game.
Yeah, there are Arkham Origins truthers who hold it up as the best.
Yeah, and so like Miles Morales is clearly a proof of concept for what they're going to do with this next one. Like they needed to design, like if their work for Spider-Man 2 is we have to design a playable Miles, set him up as a proper Spider-Man, and make sure our game functions on the PS5. We'll release a tech demo, make some money off of it, and just cascade that into Spider-Man 2, which they did. And they don't like...
And Miles Morales is fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's the infamous second son, only I care about it more because it's Spider-Man. It's one of those like, look at how pretty our system is. Look at how cool some of the weird mechanics on your controller are. Have fun. Yeah. We'll see you in a couple of years with like the big in.
Yeah.
So if they want to take another like 3 or 4 years, make Spider-Man 3 and knock my socks off again, more power to them.
Yeah, and we'll probably get Wolverine between then too, because don't forget that's in development.
Yeah, I do keep forgetting about that.
So we'll probably get that Wolverine game to hold us over while we wait for Spider-Man. But like that's my like ideal thing is that like I think you could do a whole game with the Green Goblin wreaking havoc, and then
then you get the
4 if they do it.
They do the proper setup then, because now Goblin's fallen. Then you get to be Superior Spider-Man, and then you get to remake the classic panel, from Superior Spider-Man of "It's You." Yeah.
Oh my!
You get to make that moment.
That would be crazy. It would be really cool. It would be an adaptation of Superior Spider-Man that like acknowledges the new norm of the comics that Peter and Miles exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you can like, and like, and I think it'll be an interesting experience for Miles because like, the Superior story in the comics was interesting because there were a lot of characters who had like seen Peter act erratically before, and the ones who had seen him wear the symbiote before went, "Is he in the fucking symbiote again?
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing? Why is he acting like this?" And knew something was wrong. I really look forward to seeing that story through Miles's eyes, because again, you'll have seen like, oh, this is what happened to Peter when he was in the symbiote for a little bit. What is going on now? Where he's calling people adult and
punching jaws off, and
that would be crazy if they did that. If like Scorpion broke out and like Peter just throws just like in the comics that wild right hook that takes off the Scorpion's jaw, and like everybody who knows like has to pause the game and go, "Oh my god!" And then people will have to come check on me because I'll probably be like sitting in a corner, rocking back and forth, screaming, crying, pissing, puking, shitting hysterically because my favorite Spider-Man story just got to be a video game now. But that's a whole lot of speculation. Stuff we do know for a fact, however, is we have a release date, which is good. We have October 20th of this year. Here's hoping it meets its release date and does not get delayed. Now, when you pre-order the game, you are going to get 3 bonus skill points, a web grabber gadget, and 2 early unlock suits. And that will be Arachnite for Spider-Man, which, congratulations, Travis, you're in another thing this year, which is the comic book mashup of Spider-Man and Moon Knight.
I see.
And you will get Shadow Spider for Miles, which is basically a Milesy version of that. It's almost very it's very Batman-y. But here's what I think is very interesting. I'm going to pull this up to screen share real quick.
Ooh.
So these are the suits you get. You go away. Plus 3 color variants. We might be getting colorways in this game on top of suits.
I vibe with that.
I do too. It means that no matter what, I will get to make the superior Spider-Man suit in some way, shape, or form, or at least get as close to it as I can. Now, I'm like psyching myself out trying to move my cursor around. Now, here's something I want to dive into as well. For the other versions of the game, there is also going to be here. Let me get to it in this article. There's going to be a digital deluxe that we have here. So we have these suits for Peter, these suits for Miles, and obviously digital deluxe pre-order will also come with the same bonuses you saw earlier, with different stuff for camera mode and 2 more skill points. And the collector's edition will come with this 19-inch collector's edition statue of Venom. Digital also will come with everything you saw, or the collector's edition will also come with the other stuff. And I'm not going to lie, this might be the first time I buy a collector's edition of something.
Not surprising.
I didn't bite at that like crazy collector's edition of Jedi Survivor. But like I might pull the trigger on this at some point.
19 inches is kind of huge. Like that's a really big statue.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also like a steelbook display case that comes with it of like Peter and Miles fighting Venom.
How much is it? Does it say how much it is?
The super duper like collector's edition
with the statue and shit.
The statue and shit version is $230.
Okay.
The base game is $70.
Yeah, so
you're basically paying $130 for that statue, which is like a hot toy.
Yeah, I mean, like assuming it's made well and et cetera, et cetera.
From what I understand, the company that makes the statue is like one that is of great reputation. Now, one last thing before we wrap up our Spider-Man 2 talk here. There was one more development that was discussed at the recent IGN game showcase, where we got the suits and the release date and everything released or announced. And that was that Eddie Brock, according to what they said, is not Venom. So, Travis, I will ask you, who do you think is Venom?
I have been under the assumption since I completed Spider-Man in 2018 that when we got Spider-Man 2 and we saw Venom, it would be Harry.
So you think we're going to get Harry Osborn as
I presume, right? Because like if the symbiote is in the tank with him. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that was my impression. Like, I didn't even know, because I assumed you can't put the symbiote in a Spider-Man game unless you are setting that game post him having the black suit and not give it to Spider-Man. Like, you can't do that. The fans would riot. I wouldn't necessarily, but the fans would riot.
Well, they also riot when his webs don't line up on his face a certain way. So it's
Yeah,
an easily excitable crowd.
Exactly. But so the idea of, and like Eddie's, we don't have Eddie, we don't have Flash in this story. I think Flash is mentioned in
Flash definitely exists in this universe. We just haven't met him yet.
Yeah. And the idea, I know in the comic, like there's a prelude comic to the game where Jameson announces he's bought the planet again.
You mean the Bugle?
Bugle, whatever. Fictional newspaper.
Fictional daily newspaper.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, I'm only giving you a hard time because that's right there.
Man, so I can't read.
I forgot that is part of the Deep Lord. Travis is illiterate.
Yeah, my whole job is just numbers. I can't read.
I read the math letters.
Yeah. But so, we have access to Eddie if we're going to be seeing the planet more because Jameson's in charge of the planet again. I said it
twice.
Bugle. The Bugle. The Daily Bugle. None of those were a bugle. We know Brock is a reporter for the Bugle. I almost just did it again. I had to try really hard not to. Like my brain went, "Don't say planet," and my mouth started to make a P shape.
The Bugle.
The Bugle. God, now we need like a mashup logo where it's like a bugle on a globe and it says the Daily Bugle. The Daily Plugle. Like Jameson got to take a back seat in the first game because the podcast thing. It made sense. I liked it.
Alex Jones.
Yeah. If he's gonna be in charge of the Bugle again, that gives us direct access to Eddie Brock, And if they really want to claim he's not in the game, that's fine. You don't need him. That's kind of, anyone can wear the mask.
Anyone can be consumed by the maw.
And anyone can wear the goop. And like I said, I've just been under the assumption that in this version that like we don't even have we've had Spider-Man. Spider-Man has existed for 8 years in the first one, and we don't have a Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the kind of universe we're dealing with. That's the version they've decided on, and it works. So like making it Harry isn't out of left field, especially given his condition. Right?
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Or even like
I'm trying to find a meme to put into the StreamYard for my response to what you're saying. We keep going.
So like, because in my version of events, here's my rundown of the game. The opening segment, Miles and Peter fight Venom, and it's Harry. Right?
Interesting.
They beat it. The symbiote leaves. They realize it's Harry. They put Harry back in, medical care as he needs. Kurt. Oh wait, Kurt's in this game too. Oh, I didn't think about the lizard.
Hold on though. In that fight, they say Connors knows a way to help Harry. So your theory could still be right. In fact, what the dialogue in the demo it supports what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why that is my. But like, I forgot that was how I got to that point.
You didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of circled myself into a loop. They fight Harry as Venom. They beat him. The symbiote gets off of him, and they put Harry into medical care. They go to Connors asking, for help. Lizard shenanigans ensue. Craven the Hunter, lizard shenanigans ensue. That plot line happens. We still don't have a way to help Harry. The symbiote has attached to Peter as a result of this. The only thing conflicting my theory right now is that Miles doesn't recognize the symbiote. Maybe Miles isn't part of the fight. Who knows? The initial fight. And so as the game progresses, the symbiote will attach to somebody else. If it's not Eddie Brock, it can be anyone, really. But like, what if we're not setting up Green Goblin for the third game, what if it's Venom Goblin? I made up a name at the end of this game, right?
Yeah.
Seems a bit clunky as I'm saying it out loud. This is why I'm not a writer. I'm not on strike right now, but support our brothers in arms and our sisters in arms and our siblings in arms. But yes, I'm not a writer. My version obviously doesn't make a ton of sense, but I think there's some credence to the idea that we're going to see Harry and the symbiote first, and then by the end of the game, it'll be on somebody other than Peter. And then maybe in the post credits, either I think we're going to see Norman. If Norman's not the Green Goblin by the end of the game, the post credits is going to be another Norman scene of,
oh yeah,
now it's time to become the Green Goblin. Or we're going to see the symbiote attached to Eddie Brock.
I think everything you're saying is valid. I think you're on the right track. Here is my response. Here's my knee-jerk response to hearing that Eddie Brock is not Venom.
Valid and based take. Here's the thing.
I'm sorry. I don't fucking trust anybody.
As someone who got by the Arkham Knight.
Oh, time out. Audio listeners, I threw up a picture of the Arkham Knight.
Yeah. As someone who got by the Arkham Knight, like hardcore got by the Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you point proven, point taken. And yeah. So like part of the thing that here's what I want to explain myself. So when the game was coming
out, I was looking for, by the way, was I saw somebody like the day that announcement was made had like that shot of the Arkham Knight when he's standing like in front of Batman, like behind the bulletproof glass at Ace Chemicals. Mm-hmm. Just like that shot with the text above it that said the Arkham Knight is not Jason Todd. And I was trying to find that meme again. But I think just an image of the Arkham Knight will suffice.
Yeah, that's enough. So everyone was saying the Arkham Knight's going to be Red Hood. And I was like, maybe. And then they were like, the Red Hood's going to be pre-order DLC. Like there's going to be a level for Red Hood. And my brain went, that proves Red Hood exists already in the universe. So this can't be Red Hood. Like the Arkham Knight can't be Jason if we know Jason's
active as the Red Hood, he cannot also be the Arkham Knight.
That's what my brain did.
Little did we know that the Red Hood DLC was a sequel.
Yeah. That's still released with the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't acknowledge that he was the Arkham Knight, which like makes sense.
Yeah, they wouldn't know. And Jason's by himself. It's not like he gets to talk to anybody on that mission.
Right. So didn't put two and two together. I forget like the very first time they mentioned Jason at some point during the story. I was like, man. They got me. I really thought I really thought.
I don't know, man. Like I said, we'll see what they do. I'm
Yeah.
not sold in either direction necessarily.
And like
Like,
we've only seen that one cinematic when they announced Spider-Man 2 to show Venom, and like obviously we know full on comic book broody Venom is in the game.
yeah.
We know that's
And
gonna happen.
we've seen from the exclusives, like pre-order stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Venom's gonna be this big stocky motherfucker with claws and teeth and shit.
Yeah. So, but and again, that can be anyone.
Anyone can
So
wear the goop.
anyone can wear the goop. So like I'm comfortable in my prediction.
Somebody needs to make fucking merch now. We need a new artist to make a Spider-Man 2 anyone can wear the goop shirt.
Yeah. And after the game's out and we know it's Eddie Brock, they can make it Eddie Brock. No, they'll put Jason Todd in the goop. It'll be Red Hood and the Venom, it'll clearly be he'll be in a Venom suit, but the Venom's gonna come out from his face, show the Red Hood under the Venom, and just say anyone can wear the goop. That
sensational. That's his word.
Brent, we did it. Hashtag anyone can wear the goop.
I think if they were going, and again, if they're saying it after showing that Venom's in the game, I've learned my lesson, I guess. You're probably right. But I still hold to that, like, it's not going to be Eddie at first. That's my lock-in.
Sorry, I accidentally muted myself because I was saying something and then I muted myself and I didn't unmute myself in time. What were you saying?
Oh, just that, like, I lock in that it's going to be, if not Harry, somebody else at the beginning of the game.
I like that idea. I'm very excited to see what's going on here. Like Miles with the whole new threads thing. That could also very well mean like he's just like questioning why Spider-Man's wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't know what it is. It
Yeah.
could just be Miles being like, "Hey, nice new suit, bud."
And like, again, there's a real chance, New York's a big place, that all Miles knows is Peter had to unknowingly fight his friend in an alien suit. We don't know where the alien thing went, but now we have to deal with what's going on with Harry.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, we have to juggle Harry and Craven.
And the more we talk about this, the more and more I'm off of Green Goblin in this game, only because clearly whatever happened, like, however they choose to save Harry is going to end up being the Green Goblin super serum. Right?
I think that that's going to be one of Norman's like next attempts. Is that we've moved on from like we've moved on from like GR27 with Devil's Breath, and GR28 ends up becoming Venom. So I'm sure GR29 is symbiote, or I'm sorry, is Green Goblin. But yeah, bringing on home this episode, just a quickie story before we wrap up here. Everybody on the planet said that The Flash is the greatest superhero movie of all time, and it turns out it's pretty good. Rotten Tomatoes is sitting pretty at, and again, Rotten Tomatoes is not a percentage score. It is percent of positive movies. Last I checked, it's somewhere in the high 70s, which is, not the most incredible thing, but it's not bad. So yeah, everybody is gonna have to make their own personal decision with whether or not they see the Flash and when and how. I think we're at a point with the Flash and stuff like that where, I think. Again, I don't want to. This episode is already getting like a super long episode. For my money, in my opinion, media that involves a problematic person not all of it is created equal.
Agreed.
You know, I was super anti playing and buying Hogwarts Legacy because J.K. Rowling made her stance that, like, she herself said, if you support Harry Potter, you support my works and what I'm doing, like, as an individual at this point in time. There was a point in time where people were like, "Oh man, J.K. Rowling fucking sucks," but I love Harry Potter. That has changed, you know. And for me, I do not feel comfortable putting my money towards Harry Potter stuff because J.K. Rowling has made a point of saying, if you support me, you support my shitty behavior. You know, something like Ezra Miller in The Flash, I think, is different in many ways. But people who can't get past the Ezra Miller stink, I do not blame you. It is in the same way that I do not, you know, I have a hard time. I've said this before. I have a hard time listening to Ye anymore. You know, it's kind of marred my experience of his work, you know, and even if I could like stomach, even if it didn't make me upset, and every time I listened to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I did not spend the entire album going, why the fuck are you an anti-Semite, you idiot? Like, even if that didn't happen, I would not comfortably and happily like declare from the mountaintops that he's one of my favorite rappers and producers. You know, because I don't want to give him that shine in public. We'll see what comes of the Jonathan Major stuff. We'll see what comes of the Tenoch Huerta stuff. You know, people are going to handle this situation differently in different comfort levels. Do not lambast people for seeing The Flash and say that they are, you know, co-signing Ezra Miller's behavior and giving them a pass for it. Because at the end of the day, the reality is there are problematic people who permeate almost all of our media. You know, it is hard to get around that.
Think about, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Because, like, famous people, I say constantly, famous people aren't people, which isn't true. But when I say that, what I mean is, like, they don't understand a normal person's struggle, right? Like, they're not living paycheck to paycheck. And, you know, I'm not doing the, like, everyone in Hollywood is rich. I'm talking, you're like, your superhero actors who are making bank off of these superhero movies, your Star Wars actors, your, you know, the big producers and the directors on these movies that are living in luxury because
the ones who have struck gold from a handful of projects.
Right. They're not normal people in the sense that they don't understand those struggles. They are normal people in the fact that they have an asshole. You know what I mean? And so think about, I saw this guy on TikTok talking about, he's like second cousins with Mike Pence. And
I know that guy. Yeah.
Have you seen this guy?
Yeah.
And he's like, he said this and it really struck with me. And you know, he's like, people tell me it's cool though, because your cousin might be the president. And his response was, think about all of your cousins and which one, if any of them, you'd want to be president. You don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of the, like, think about all your friends and think about which one of them you'd want to be like one of the most predominant media and like figureheads of the media of the 21st century. You probably don't, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. And again, man, like, again, people's mileage is going to vary here.
Absolutely.
I think that, and I also think that there is a difference between something that is like, again, just coming back to J.K. Rowling, because she is like the paragon for like problematic person who like she is the worst case scenario.
Right.
Because
and here's
every
difference.
red cent of something with a Harry Potter lightning bolt on it, that like every single thing, she is making a buck off of. And you get into that weird paradigm of like directly supporting a piece of shit.
So, and like
that's more complicated in this situation here with Ezra.
Right, because the thing with Ezra is they're not they're a mess. They're not like it's not J.K. Rowling preaching an ideology that is fundamentally awful and harms people. And so supporting her fundamentally harms people.
Like literally working with neo-Nazis at this point.
Yeah. It's just that Ezra is in such a weird place, legally speaking, that I know a lot of people feel like supporting them. They're supporting their crimes, I guess. The one that I think deserves some discussion is because a lot of people, and like it's gotten some BS headlines of the like DC chooses not to recast Ezra Miller because like some of the producers have said Ezra might maintain being the Flash, but they have to say that. Like people don't understand is yes, they're rebooting, like DC's getting pretty much a reboot and they're keeping the things they liked and getting rid of the things they didn't like. They want people to go see the Flash. If they publicly say Ezra Miller will no longer be playing the Flash after this movie, the MCU brained populace will say, well, I don't need to go see this movie then, a la Shazam. And like Shazam had its own bucket of problems, but for me especially, one of the big ones was like, this movie isn't going to matter in like the DC canon. I'm not that big of a Shazam fan. I haven't been wowed by the trailers.
Yeah.
That guy's kind of weird.
Yeah, we found out Zachary Levi is like a fucking Jordan Peterson fanboy and shit.
So, and saying so on the Joe Rogan podcast, that's the kind of that's the realm we're in. So like, they have to say Ezra might keep their job because if they don't, there's no stakes to this movie.
Yeah,
there's no stakes to people seeing it, and it's gonna flop. And even though, the perception of, well, if it does well, they'll keep Ezra because the studio heads don't know any better. I have a suspicion that we're already past the point of return on that.
We'll see.
I hope.
I mean, we'll see. It's unpredictable. You don't know. Like
anyone can wear the goop.
Anyone can wear the goop, and like it. No matter where you fall on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, I think that situation is way more complicated than people give it credit for. I think that situation was co-opted by some of the worst people on the fucking internet. There was a lot of misinformation around that trial. It was a fuck fest. And it set back conversations about keeping famous people accountable back by about 7 years. Because regardless of the reality of that situation and whose side you're on, at the end of the day, the fresh and fits of the world had their day in court and won. And had their moment where, by hook or by crook, some lying woman ruined a man's career and paid for it. And now we're in a situation where people either have where a lot of people are either like everybody's a liar, like we're right back to pre-Me Too. We are right back to pre-Me Too. We're like every victim is a liar, no, like, and it's impossible to prove somebody's guilt definitively. And again, everybody deserves their day in court. All of that stuff that all goes without fucking saying. At the end of the day, the issue we're always going to have to deal with here is that sometimes studio heads and producers and creatives and leaders aren't going to make the choice to cut ties. And that sometimes performers and famous people get so big that they escape these issues. And I think in a post Heard v. Depp world, Warner Brothers especially is really fucking afraid of firing somebody. And I think this issue bleeds into the Jonathan Majors stuff. I think this issue
100%.
is going to bleed into the Huerta situation.
Yeah.
Majors more so than the other than Majors and Huerta more than the Miller situation. Because on top of like, oh no, do we want to do the no? Do we want to just fire this fucking person? You also have the added issue of like the hammer swiftly being brought down on male presenting people of color when Ezra Miller survives a fucking reboot.
Yeah.
Like the optics there are weird. Granted, they're different companies with like different internal policies and, playing different, doing different arithmetic on what the best solution here is.
And it's weird how both of their situations don't because Disney is so tight knit.
Yeah.
Marvel is so tight knit that if they were to fire either of them, it would cause such, I don't know how much Namor has to do with the rest of the, going forward, but surely it's something.
Yeah. They set him up to like stick around as a character.
Yeah. So this idea of like, well, we can fire them, but then what? And then we're already losing public confidence slowly but surely. I won't say it's as much as some people will claim because.
Yeah. Personally, I think a lot of the hate that the MCU has gotten over the past couple of years is people deciding that they want the MCU to have a dark period. Like, maybe I'm a shill. Maybe I'm just some dumb fucking Disney piggy who's just eating every bit of content out of their hands. I think people have been overly harsh on the MCU. I saw somebody make some kind of
100%.
snide remark about like Phase 4 being, back when Phase 4 still had promise, referring to WandaVision. And it's like, Phase 4 fucking ruled. I don't like, I'm sorry. Again, maybe I'm some dumb fucking Disney piggy, but like,
no, people are just hungry for another Avengers movie.
I think people are hungry for Avengers. I think
Phase 3 was a mess until Avengers Infinity War came out. Like, I'm sorry. That's the case. It was a bunch of intro movies. We were introducing a bunch of new characters. People were like, Black Panther did great.
And because we saw the, no pun intended, end game in sight.
Yeah.
People accepted everything we got.
And like Ant-Man and the Wasp would have gotten the Quantumania treatment if it wasn't wedged between Avengers. Because I know which one I enjoyed more. Granted, I just saw it in February. I remember a lot of the plot of Quantumania. I couldn't tell you shit about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
But and that's not, I know I enjoyed it in the theater. I had a wonderful theater experience with that movie. It was just me, my best friend, another friend of ours, and his dad. That was it. We were the only 4 in the theater because we saw it like a week late. Absolutely sick.
I was trying to think. I was like, did I see that one with you? Or did I see that with you? I can't remember.
No, it was me and my friend Zach, Josh Alman, and his dad.
Oh, word.
Yeah. So it was just like, what a coincidence. Let's talk while we watch this movie in a theater because this is rad.
Yeah.
So like, fun experience. But people are hungry for the connecting factor to really sink in, which we've especially been lacking because of having to deal with 2020.
Yeah.
And that we're going to continue to deal with because of the writer's strike, which, like, again, solidarity to the writers, 100%. Yeah. I will take a disjointed MCU for them to get.
Oh, yeah. Right. And this goes without saying, I think, with us. When we say because of the writer's strike, that is not because the writers are striking. It's because studios will not pay writers and therefore they have to strike.
Exactly. Yes. But yeah, like Kang Dynasty is going to come out once everything's figured out with Kang.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to say that the recent phase of Marvel was the greatest. Like, this is the greatest idea they've ever had.
Yeah,
We
and I
saw it
think
the whole time.
I think a lot of the I think shout out Rob Filkins, one of our loyal viewers and listeners, who watches a lot of the same like former cracked people stuff that we watch. No shade to Cody Johnston. He's one of the funniest, smartest people on the online left. I am a big fan of everything he makes. He is one of those people who they are incredibly intelligent, whose Star Wars and Marvel takes make me want to run and face first into a wall. And like he like 3 episodes in a row on Even More News has popped off about the whole we're going to focus on quality over quantity comment that was made about Marvel. That was made. I don't know if it was from Feige or someone adjacent to, but I was like, that's not fair. That's not fair. Like, obviously they thought what they were making was good. They just, and again, it was because Bob Paycheck, that was his strategy. Crank the shit out. And because of that, things did not get to cook for as long as the creatives would have liked it to. And I'm sure we're going to look back on some of the MCU entries and go, oh my God, like, this is so much better than that, blah, 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 blah. Like, fucking the only things we've gotten out of the MCU this fucking phase has been Guardians and Ant-Man. And part of why I'm so convinced that people like gaslit themselves into like, oh, Marvel fell off so that Marvel can come back, was just so they could say that. So they could say that Guardians of the Galaxy saved the MCU. Anyway, we're wildly off fucking track. See The Flash or don't. That's completely up to you. And I will not be making a moral judgment about you, whether or not you do. Unless you like publicly say that the numerous crimes of Ezra Miller are justified. And if you say that, you're a deeply silly and stupid person. All of
Agreed.
that to say,
I cooked up another. I was going to keep going. I'm willing to stop. It's okay.
I don't want
No
to.
one liked Phase 2 of the
you.
MCU. No one liked Phase 2 of the MCU. I'm going to say it. Everyone hated it, except for like 2 movies. Everyone was like, these movies are bad when they came out. I was there. I remembered. I was not one of them.
Richard is a Phase 2 truther. I don't know if you can hear him, but he is.
I'm a Phase 2 truther. I love except for Thor: The Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World isn't that fucking bad. I'm going to say that Thor: The Dark World's mid. It's fine.
That's my thing.
Whatever.
Like in comparison to in the MCU, it's the bottom tier, and it's still a C-.
Yeah.
Like, I might put it on to go to sleep tonight because it bores me to sleep. But like, that's not. I'm sorry, it does. It does.
It's fine. I'm not going to go to bat for Thor: The Dark World. I have no interest in playing
Iron Man 3
that hard.
Iron Man 3, banger nobody liked. Thor: The Dark World, I'll give it to you. Captain America: Winter Soldier, overhyped, but I still love it. Guardians.
Oh, spicy take. Spicy take. I agree with you. Spicy take.
It is. People hold it up to this pedestal that it doesn't deserve. It's still great. Like, it's one of my favorite.
It's fantastic. I don't understand why people talk about it the way they do.
I mean, I could probably give you some reasons, but they're not savory and we don't have time. Think about the people who say it's their favorite. Consider it for a minute. They like the white guy with the blonde hair that has a good espionage story.
See, it's funny you say that. I thought you were going to go film, bro. I thought the route you were taking was it's like the movie critics who like love to like viciously shit on the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of both, but also there's not a lot of film bro elements to Winter Soldier. It has good acting. It has good action. But like, if there's one thing people have convinced me of on the internet is that the Russo's camera angles and like, not camera angles, but like their shots and their shot composition is very basic.
Yeah.
And they make up for it in like having very immaculate stories told in that shot composition, but it's still only okay. You know? Like, it's not a Nolan movie like people wanted it to be. Anyway, Guardians was great, and no one liked Age of Ultron.
Except for me.
Well, when it came out, I should
Except
say.
for
Like,
me.
yeah, we liked it. I really enjoyed it.
I too was an Age of Ultron truther.
Everyone on the internet, again, we were there. Everyone on the internet was like,
I said Age of
okay,
Ultron truther, and in my mind, I immediately went, I want to make a shirt that says Sokovia was an inside job.
It was. They've been planting Doctor Doom this whole time. And Ant-Man, everyone was like, it's not, it's okay. It's just Iron Man again. I was there. Okay. And then phase 3 happened. What happened in phase 3? We got Endgame and everyone was like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a masterpiece that's been planned since 2007. They've known what they're doing the whole time.
I'm about to cut. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry. Long-winded point.
No, I
Close
love it.
the show.
I love it. I no shade to that one podcast on TikTok that goes viral all the fucking time. You know the one I'm talking about? It's two guys, one wears a hat, and funnily enough, the other guy also wears Roosevelt's a lot.
What's their decor like?
It kind of looked like the old studio. Like they just had nerd shit all over the walls. And they kind of do like a shot reverse shot. They had Straw Hat Goofy and Soups on their show for like just to do like a full hot take episode, 2 hot take episodes.
Oh, is that the thing that everyone clipped where Soup said that there were no stakes in Homecoming?
Yeah, that fucking podcast.
Okay, see, that's the only clip of theirs. I mean, I've probably seen other clips, but like,
no shade to them. I would love to do a crossover with them because like, I don't want to be mean to these guys because they do the same shit we do. Like, no hate. Their takes run the gamut. Like, some of them are like immaculate. Some of them are like so close to being like God tier takes. And then sometimes the most rancid, dookie shit falls out of their mouths. And I swear to God, I am shocked that we have not reached that same level of infamy because I'm just convinced we're like little MCU piggies. Like I'm just gonna keep saying it. Like I have slowly been gaslit by Twitter that I'm the fucking crazy one for like not hating the MCU.
yeah.
I'm slowly going fucking crazy that like I'm watching the wrong movies and TV shows.
I got out of Quantumania and was like, that was pretty good. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. There was a lot of things I loved about that movie. And I go on the internet and everyone's like, this is the second worst MCU movie of all time next to Thor the Dark World. In legitimate things where like Captain Marvel is in the bottom. I saw some guy on TikTok had just caught up. Like he saw Guardians 3 in theaters and like he had been watching the MCU entirely. And like I don't agree with all of his rankings, but like they were fair in his opinion. He put Eternals at like 17 out of 33 or something.
Fucking based. Fucking based. The Eternals should be higher, but I'll take that placement.
And like Captain Marvel was below it. It was in like the mid 20s, maybe like when I say low 20s, I mean like 21, like towards the teens. And he was like, people are going to shit on me for saying that I like this movie, but like, I really like Brie Larson and I love her in this movie. And I was like, okay. Cause I was worried. Like I was watching it in that fear of, oh, where's he going to put Captain Marvel? Right. Like,
what am I going to learn about you as a person?
Right. And like he put both Black Panther movies really high.
You could use Captain Marvel and The Last Jedi as such a great, like, what kind of person are you? Like,
yeah,
like if you have a weird opinion about either of those movies, I now have a great place to start judging you from that you either like start on third base or you have a lot of redeeming to do.
And again, like, because he put it kind of low, and I was like, this is about where I would have expected it to be. And he was like, people are going to hate me for putting it this high, but like, it wasn't bad. And I thought that's where he was going to stop. And he was like, and Brie Larson's great in it. That's the only thing I really liked about it, but Brie Larson's great in it. And I was like, this man.
I don't,
Spoke to
man,
me.
I know it's going to be hard to do. I would love to do an MCU ranking episode at some point, like probably after Secret Invasion when we have another lull in Marvel stuff.
Yeah, he didn't include the shows, to be fair. Like, he did not have the shows in there.
I would rather do movies and shows separately. Frankly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think it's too different. I don't know what my top 10 would look like. Like, I'm thinking about it. Like,
every
time
I think about it,
up
I can't do it.
there. I know at least one Spider-Man movie is up there. I know Wakanda Forever is up there.
Okay, wait. I got one more thing.
Bro, fucking go for it.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Follow me on this. I haven't watched it in my abode yet. Everyone on the internet is like, okay, but the scenes that like have the pauses for the theater to erupt aren't good, so the movie isn't good actually when you watch it at home. And like varying degrees of that statement. I do not fucking care.
I think people are super exaggerating that too.
I agree.
I have watched it at home. I have watched it at home by my fucking self.
Endgame has the same thing. When Cap picks up Mjolnir, there's a pause for the audience to cheer. And I watched that movie in my house, and I cheered by myself. God damn.
I just it's more like people act like it's a concert pause and not a play pause. People act like it's like,
yeah,
or even
I see what you mean.
Like, people act like, or it's like, like someone comes out at a concert or they start a song and people are freaking the fuck out and they just stop and let that pause be super pregnant, or even like wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Where like someone will walk out, the crowd will lose their motherfucking minds and everything will stop so everyone can bathe in that moment. Whereas this feels like a play or a musical, And it's like, what do you want then, man? Like, do you want them to just keep going? And congratulations, you missed fucking plot developments because Soups like punched an old lady in the face because he saw Tobey Maguire for 30 seconds, or like that asshole did a backflip in the fucking theater.
And like, I understand that if it's not your thing, I get it. But man, I wouldn't trade being in that theater for the fucking world.
Yeah.
Like,
in
either Endgame or No Way Home. And I don't care if it means I'm not going to enjoy the movie as much when I'm at home. It was worth it. Shut up.
All right. Any other hot takes from Travis Grossman?
There's a bug on my screen. That's it.
All right. Well, it's getting kind of late. So this episode may end up coming out a little later tomorrow than I anticipated. Or it may just end up coming out on Thursday. If it comes out on Thursday, watch me on Bombadcast tonight and not tomorrow. Just depending on when I decide to edit this bad boy. But I'll probably edit it either tonight or early tomorrow morning. Either definitely tonight if I do it. But Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
They can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Travis Political. I think that's my name on TikTok.
I think it is too, because I tagged you on the video earlier.
TikTok. I don't post on TikTok.
You should post your comic book hot takes. You would go so viral because you're so handsome and smart.
And maybe I'll start tweeting again. I don't know. I've been really disincentivized from using Twitter because every time I open it, I get like this curdled milk feeling in my gut. Not even because I think of Elon, because I'm like, oh, I can't find my news anymore.
I did myself a big favor by turning on post notifications for a lot of the news outlets I get stuff from.
That's fair.
Like a long time ago.
But
and I'm now reaping that fruit.
The thing I liked about old Twitter was this was my process to finding things. something would happen, like a major, like not even comic, like world event would happen. And I could go to the trending page. It would be right there because obviously it curates for you still.
Yeah.
But like the thing would be there immediately for me to click and find news articles and start reading things. And like, yes, I actually do read news articles occasionally
As I pick up paper.
So
This
like,
isn't news. This is my D&D character sheet.
it's news. It can be news.
I'm not Alex Jones. I don't have little stackies on my desk. That's what he calls them.
And like I could see people reacting to things and like start forming how I feel about a situation based on both 120 characters from different people and the things that I could find. And then I start researching on my own. Like the process everyone tells you to do was very streamlined for me. And that's been disrupted and it's been really awful. And I hate it. And it makes me not want to open Twitter.
That is valid.
But also, I just got like 8 new followers randomly, so that's pretty cool. And maybe I'll tweet something.
Yeah. Me too.
Jared.
Yeah.
Where?
Fuck.
How do you spell that?
Cocksucker. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can find me on TikTok at DarkJedi5225. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you listen to podcasts, and on YouTube and on our website, thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our Patreon, remember Q&A posts you get directly now if you do that, and also leave them in the comments section and we'll read them. I'm doing hand magic to hypnotize you too.
Give me $1.
Ooh. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to Keandre.
Congratulations on making it into the program.
Thank you.
Have you been in Coruscant long?
No.
Well,
Wrong clip. I played the wrong clip and I could not turn it off before we got to Connor going, no.
I don't know what I expected because I thought he wanted a new clip. So I'm like, oh, this is a weird one. I don't think there's a scream in this scene. And I should have expected the Connor. No. I should have. But it still got me.
It's pretty neat. It's pretty dope. And to Paco, or as he's going by on our Patreon, Alex Jones.
My voice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know what to play for you anymore, Paco. I need help. But like I said, patrons, $5 tier will get you access to both the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series and the Nerd Academy's Heroic History 101. We're going to be trying to do Flashpoint at some point before July here. And then, like I said, this month's Versus series is going to be a little bit late because Spencer's going on his mission trip. But Porter Angle versus Count Dooku for June. Like I said before, Q&A stuff will kind of get you front of the line. And that'll be how we close the show from now on, is do a little Q&A section at the end. Bombad Cast this week. Check me out. I'll be on talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade along with Spencer and M from Sisters with Sabers. Very excited. Love that thumbnail Jerry and Scotty made. Pete, Spencer, and I and our Indiana Jones Roosevelts and my little hat. Next week on Knights of the Nerd Republic, we'll be talking about Star Wars Outlaws, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you for watching and listening, and class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!